Shalom, Yasharallah. This is your brother Dawadah from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHIM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHIM, or Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great MILLSTONE and taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump to this here lesson dealing with basically Esau Edom's future, all right, and the things he's got to be dealing with, all right. So we're gonna start out here in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 7. Basically, we living in a time of a transition, all right. We under these curses right now, you know what I'm saying, according to Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 on down to 68. We under these here curses, all right, up until the time that the Most High switch it all up. We're in this transitional period at this point in time. All right. So that's what we're going to pick up. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And Yahawah thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. All right. And so we know this is, Esau Edom. All right. Real quick. Oh, no, that's not what I want. This is Ezekiel 35 and 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamities, in the time of that their iniquity had an end. All right. Let me just read this, verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahawah, power, I will pursue thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. All right. So the Most High is about to, because of all this here hatred and all the different things that Esau Edom has done to us. All right. The Most High is about to bring all these here curses upon his ass. All right. So let me read this again in Deuteronomy 30 and 7. And Yahawah thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemy and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And we know that mainly the chief of those people is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right. So we're going to get into these here curses, some of the curses that's going to befall them. All right. And these are the curses that the children of Israel are up under at the current time. But these curses are being lifted up off of us and transferred over into Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right. So Deuteronomy 28 and verse 16, it says, cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall thou be in thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land and the increase of thy kine and the flock of thy sheep. And so you're starting to see that now with the so-called white man. All right. They starting to be cursed in the city and in the field, and especially like economically with their jobs, their businesses. You have a whole lot of so-called white people becoming unemployed, underemployed, and all these different things. This is why they're starting to commit a lot of suicide and things like that. All right. These farmers and things like that, they seeing it that how do I say? It's getting harder and harder and tougher for these farmers. They actually paying out money just to stay not to stay afloat, but they paying out money, not making no money. All right. So they starting to be cursed and all these different things, whereas they've been made rich generationally, year after year after year, generation after generation, by what? They farmlands, their businesses and things that they got going. But now it's in a time where all these things are starting to crumble down upon them and starting to collapse on them. Their kids was growing up, going to college and so on and so forth. But what? Now they getting on all these opioids and all these different things. They starting to be cursed on all levels. All right. Verse 19, cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. And right now, I did a video on this a while back, but how do they say what do they call it? The reproductive rate. Basically, the rate of which these so-called white people are having babies is declining. All right. So they basically have a 0% population growth rate. All right. They're not really having babies. These so-called white women aren't they're becoming barren, more or less to say, or if not, they're losing their babies in certain things, or if not, you got a lot of these so-called white men becoming homosexuals, just want to go sleep with men. All right. So their so-called race, right, they're being cursed as far as bringing children into this world. They're not how do I say producing so-called children to be prosperous here and for their lineage to keep going on. They're being cursed. All right. And another thing, you having a lot of these so-called white men. No, we ain't having no babies and this and that feminism kicking in with these so-called white women. But again, like I said, a lot of them are becoming barren and can't have children. They have to go to the adoption route and different things like this and that, also going along with their so-called artificial insemination. This is why they're doing all these things, because they, you don't really have Jake. You might have some Jake women that are barren and things like that or whatever, whatnot. But for the most part, you know, if you sneeze around Jake gonna wind up being pregnant. So Jake ain't the problem. They trying to, you know, the reverse is happening for Jake. You know, they got things called Planned Parenthood, all right, to try to slow our population growth. Whereas their population growth, they're paying people to, you know what I'm saying, to help them reproduce and things like that. All right. So it says, verse 20, Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all thou settest thy hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereas thou hast forsaken me. All right. And so again, all these curses basically originally was directed to the children of Israel, but nevertheless, they all fallen on Esau. All right. So as you start seeing everything that he wound up doing, all right, everything he put his hand to is wound up crumbling in front of his eyes, you know. They built up this strong ass military and trying to take over the world, but that's crumbling. You know, they got these certain plans and agendas, but that's crumbling. All right, they trying to keep making America great again, but that's crumbling. Everything the so-called white man is doing is crumbling on his ass. All right. You know, even on the lower levels, you got these so-called white men that, you know, thought that, you know, from their pride, they can go out and go do certain things and rouse Jake up and nothing happened to him or whatever, whatnot. I seen a video of this so-called white man basically cussing out this pregnant Jake woman. All right, and was all up in her face like he was all big and bad, this and that. But then some random ass Jake dude walked up and got in his face, was like, yo, you want to talk all that shit talking in my face? And then his whole story changed up. And he was talking about how he was going to do this and that. He was like, I wish you would. And he pulled a gun out on him. He was like, what? I got the legal right to do it. You know what I'm saying? This and that. The so-called white man started getting, don't pull a gun out on me. Put that gun away. And you see what I'm saying? He go from being all big and bad to crying now. All right. When back in the days, it was just the opposite. You know what I'm saying? If a so-called black man whistled, looked at, you know, didn't hold his head down, he could be lynched or killed. You see what I'm saying? But nowadays, so-called white man thinking he all in his power, but what? He getting chumped off by, you know, Jake, who's basically in the lowest state of his condition. You know, when he's supposed to be up under Esau Edom, you starting to see the curses being reversed on the so-called white man. All right, the so-called white man ain't all big and bad no more. He getting chumped off by Jake. All right, in a lot of different scenarios and cases and things like that. All right, and what? So-called white men been shooting and gunning down Jake for the longest time, getting off on it, creating new laws and dropping dope on him and everything. They'll go and kill Jake for no reason, drop some dope on him. Oh, it was drug related. He was doing whatever, whatnot, plant a fake gun on him. But what? Nowadays, all right, the Most High didn't put the spirit on you stupid ass Edomites to put these goddamn video cameras, body cameras on every damn body, and everybody got cell phones with cameras on there. Now this shit going out onto the world, and in order to save face for your ass, you got to persecute some of your own people. So what? A lot of these police officers is catching flack and catching catching that judgment for the things that they doing. You know, you thought you could just get away with killing Jake and doing this and doing that and all these different things. You walking around in your pride, but what? All these different things are starting to come down on your ass. Everything you put your hand onto is starting to basically crumble. Verse 21, and Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it. And Yahweh will smite thee with consumption and with the fever and with inflammation and with the extreme burning and with the sword and with the blasting and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou hast perished. And yeah, man, sicknesses and diseases is on a rise and a rampage through this now. All right. There was one little sickness and disease that was going through America that was really affecting middle-aged white women alone. All right. And for just to target them, hey, you know, that's a sign of the Most High. All right. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be for iron. And Yahweh shall make the rain of thy land powder, and dust from heaven shall come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. So basically, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to have real, like, your land ain't going to be very fruitful and you know, overflowing abundantly for certain things. Things are going to be getting hard for you, i.e. look at the condition of America now. America's coming to a grinding halt. Everything is slowing down here for America with their resources and everything. Donald Trump cutting off trade, put sanctions and things like that on there, which is ultimately fucking up these Americans here. All right. So all these curses now starting to come upon them. So just think about it. We was in a prominent position right before we got taken into slavery. And now look at the condition that we in now. We was all up on top thinking none of these things will happen. But then all these things happen to us. Esau Edom is in that same seat now, all up on how thinking none of these things is going to happen to him. But slowly but surely, all these things are starting to happen to him. This is what's going wrong with America. This is why they want to make America great again, because all these plagues are falling upon her. All right. And Yahweh shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and thou shalt be removed into all kingdoms of the earth. And again, hey, that's how it is now. You know, you have a corner full of Jake gangbangers, hustlers, big thugged out ass niggas on the block, whatever, whatnot. You know, about 12, 13 of them, right? You know what I'm saying? Some of them got guns on them, some of them, you know, whatever, whatnot, you know, shanks and everything. Let one police car with one small ass Edomite roll up on their ass, even if it's a woman, all of them scattering. All right, they're going 7 different ways. They all running. All right, from one little old feeble ass police officer. All right, but now what? The tables are being turned now. All right, you're starting to see these damn Edomites or whatever, whatnot, trying to come up on Jake or whatever, whatnot. Hey, in some scenarios, the Lord is putting a spirit on Jake to just sit here and just run through some of these motherfuckers, man. You see some videos where it'd be like, you know, so-called white men are coming up, you know, they might be out drinking or whatever, picking on Jake, and Jake beat and knocked everybody out. You know what I'm saying? And like, yo, man, y'all keep talking that shit where it was the other way around. You know, they'd be like, yo, we going coon hunting, find and pick a nigga and barbecue his ass. But now it's being, you know, the tables is being turned on your ass. All right. I remember not too long ago, they had that one video that a bunch of Jakes had and took this one little, I think a retarded boy hostage and was beating his ass on YouTube. You see what I'm saying? But what? Those are those curses being turned back on Esau Edom, because they still have postcards to this day that you can look up on the internet of them taking our people and our children and hanging them in trees and barbecuing their ass, you know what I'm saying, and hanging them up, and they was all laughing and rejoicing over it and having a good time. But basically like they Facebook, they was uploading it to the internet basically. You see what I'm saying? Same like today. They tell you, hey man, you put something up on the internet, you can't get it back. Who knows where it's going to go? Same with their pictures and postcards. You know, once you capture that image somewhere, you don't know where it's going to go. Those people didn't know that those pictures were going to come back to haunt their ass hundreds of years later. All right. But nevertheless, it says, verse 26, thy carcass shall be meat unto the air, all the fowl of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and that no man shall fray them away. And Yahawah will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou cannot be healed. All right. Let me go back up. And thy carcass shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. You know, you got a lot of these so-called white people out there homeless right now, all right, on the opioids and fentanyl and all that kind of stuff. Look up what Skid Row is. All right, all these different, majority of them is Edomites living out there in these little tents and shit, homeless, living in their cars. You know what I'm saying? And people just like, man, what's going on with these people, man? These are the people who was living in these big ass houses and mansions and shit like that. Now they out here doing drugs on the corner of the road and living in tents and shit. That used to be Jake, you know what I'm saying? But now Jake is the ones coming up, and these Edomites is the ones living these lives like that, all right? It says, and Yahawah will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereas thou cannot be healed. And Yahawah shall smite thee with the madness and blindness and astonishment of heart, all right? And yet, you have these so-called white people catching these diseases, all these different things going out, especially like hell with these new little social media apps and shit like that, these little hookup sites, you know what I'm saying? You got these fucking nasty ass people just literally going on the internet, finding somebody for the night, hooking up with them. And these nasty ass Edomites, man, I ain't even gonna get into all that, but these motherfuckers are spreading diseases left and right. You just think about it, it's just gross. But nevertheless, it says, verse 29, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in the darkness. Thou shalt not prosper in thy way. Thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore. No man shall save thee. Yeah, you have a lot of these Edomites that's in better positions that's doing the same thing. Man, Donald Trump fucking this up, Barack Obama fucking that up, and this and that, and this and that, and my money and taxes and so on and so forth, all this and my business and health insurance. Yo, they being oppressed already that way. Secondly, you know, certain things in certain ways, people are losing, you know, how you had these, big people that's in charge of certain shit like the movies and stuff like that, where they're getting called out, you know what I'm saying, losing their prominence and things like that. Certain businesses, they getting shade thrown on them, like the Starbucks situation and how they deal with Jake, you know what I'm saying? All these different things are starting to harm and hurt them, you know what I'm saying? So now all these different things, they not actually prospering in a lot of things ways that they wanted to. All right, a lot of the things that they want, they used to be able to just say it and they got it, but now it's all this backlash and all this turmoil coming up upon them whenever they try to go for certain things that they trying to go for. All right. Verse 30, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. All right. And so what? The Edomite women, all right, and primarily the Edomite women, all right, they starting to come to Jake for the most part. You know, a lot of these Edomite women, they come to their damn senses. They're like, well, fuck it. You know, their man don't want them anyway. They want a little boy or somebody that look like a little boy. All right, for one. You know, and plus they fucking demonic, man. They do all kind of goddamn, how they say that torturistic type of shit. The type of sex where they be bondage You know what I'm saying? They be putting people in chains and shit and fucking leather suits and shit. Like, that's the damn devil, man. He like to do some shit like that, man. You see what I'm saying? But what? The so-called Jake men is out here finessing these women. They ain't even got to finesse these women. These women just want to come to Jake because Jake got that juice. All right? But nevertheless, thou shalt betroth the wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. All right? And thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shall not gather the grapes thereof. And yeah, that's what a lot of these Edomites complain about. Oh, man, these foreigners, these Mexicans, these Negroes, the browning of America, they taking over our place, our land, our home. Or in actuality, you stole this land. But nevertheless, as you see, the curse is coming upon you, man. You thought you was going to have your own little spot, rule the whole damn earth. All right, and just be white all over the whole earth. But what? Now all these curses coming upon you. Everybody's chasing you into a corner now. All right. It says, thy ox shall be slain before thy eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thy ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and thou shalt not restore thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemy, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. And again, going into, you know, you have a lot of these people who are prominent people and built businesses or whatever, whatnot, made millions or hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever, whatnot. And now all of a sudden they getting into a lawsuit with Jake. Now they have to pay out a whole lot of money. And not just that, the worst part about it, they getting the shade on their business. You know, like how Jake was saying, now we ain't gonna fuck with Starbucks no more because they racist. You know, then, you know, the business start declining. You know what I'm saying? They're like, damn, why is this happening? That's happening. You know, why are these different things is happening? Because we dealing with Jake in a certain type of way. All right. It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail for longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. All right. And so, real quick. And really on a low level, you can see this happening now because you have a lot of Jake starting businesses and stuff now, and you got these Edomites working for them. But nevertheless, this is Isaiah 60:10. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have mercy unto thee. All right. Therefore thy gate shall be open continually, and they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, that their kings may be brought. For the nation and the kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Verse 14, the sons of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. They shall call thee the city of Yahawah, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So again, as you starting to see these here curses starting to take place on Esau Edom, man, this is where his future is going to be. He's going to wind up, going into captivity under the hands of the Israelites. All right. It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given, Deuteronomy 28:32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. Yeah, because when the Lord come back and give his men their spiritual powers, man, there's nothing you can do about it. All right. It says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt only be oppressed and crushed always. All right. So, and again, these are all the things that happen to us. But let me hit that in Job 20:18. All right, Job 20:18. That which he labored for shall he restore, and he shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be. He shall not rejoice therein. All right. Basically, you know, basically all the things that the so-called white man is storing up and all these different things, his plans and everything like that, it's not going to go as how do I say, according to plan. All right. He's going to wind up vomiting all these things up. He's going to wind up having to pay back all the things that he's done to us. All right. As he, that what he's labored for, all the things he swallowed down, that's what the restitution going to be. He's going to have to give everything back up. So all the things he's working for. All right. So going back to the curse, it says the fruit of thy land and all thy labor. The so-called white man and worked so hard to enslave the whole damn world and get all the resources thereof. But what? He going to have to throw it. He's going to wind up vomiting it all back up. That's the restitution he going to wind up pay. It says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. Thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. And that's going to be the future of these so-called Edomites. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. Right. And exactly, these Edomites, you know, the ones that's taking heed or realizing that this is their future coming to pass, they upset about it. All right. That's why they do videos like GMS coon hunting and things like that. But nevertheless, you know, the wise are the ones that see this coming. They already know. All right. So what they you know, this is kind of moving their spirit a little bit. All right. It says, Yahawah shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed from the sole of thy foot to the top of thy head. Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king which thou set over thee into a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. Again, speaking, this was directed to the Israelites, all right, but these curses are coming upon Esau Edom. Verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations where the Yahweh shall lead thee. And yeah, whereas right now we call him the so-called white man, the pure man, the righteous man, so on and so forth, he gonna be called an Edomite, exactly what he is, the damn devil, man. He's the base of, he's the basis of men, all right? Verse 38, thou shalt carry out much seed into the field, thou shalt get and shall gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Yeah, like I just read in Isaiah 60, they're gonna be the ones. We're gonna be sucking the breast of they king, so they're gonna be doing all the work, and we're gonna be reaping all the benefits, like today. You know what I'm saying? If you work at whatever factory, let's say you work at Ford, the Ford company, you making Ford cars. You the ones doing all the work, but your name ain't on the car, and you ain't reaping the real benefits from it. All right, we're gonna have them in captivity. They're gonna be doing all the damn work, and we're gonna take all we're gonna get all the benefits off of it. Verse 40, thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coasts, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thy olive shall cast its fruit. So basically, for an example, Venezuela, they got their own gold and their own oil, but what? America want keep take possession of it. They want to make sure that they have their hands on their resources. All right, we gonna wind up having all the resources of the earth. So yeah, they're gonna be laboring for certain things and things like that, but it's not gonna be theirs. Anything that they wind up coming up with, we're gonna take, just like here under their captivity. You know, any type of inventions or things we come up with, they take it and rebrand it under their name and take the credit for it. All right. Verse 41, thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity, which we just touched on. And all the trees and fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. Yeah, we're going to take all your resources. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And right now we at the very low state, but what? We about to come up real high on them. All right. And right now he lending to us, but we're not lending to him. But again, as you see these things being turned around, all right, it says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. And he shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. So right now we the tail and he the head, but it's all being turned around on him. All right. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments and statutes which he commanded thee. Again, that was directed to the Israelites, because Esau Edom catching this shit regardless. All right. And they shall be for thee, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever, because thou servest not Yahweh thy power with the joyfulness, with the gladness of heart and abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck till he have destroyed thee. Yeah, the so-called white man got to prepare for that he's going to be serving Jake, man. They didn't like having Barack Obama, a so-called image of a black man, ruling over them. You know what I'm saying? But yet and still, at the end of the day, man, hey, man, you're going to be serving us, all right? And you're going to serve us for all the want of everything: food, water, clothes, raiment, roof over your head, until you just basically be destroyed like us. All right. We so damn destroyed. We don't know no other way but to serve the so-called white man. And if you try to go outside of that and try to, you know, either, like, let's say, instead of working for the so-called white man and work for your damn self, start your own business, your people look at you like you're retarded. All right. You don't want to sit here and bow down and worship the so-called white man and serve him. And you want to go, let's say, your own way and serve YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. Our people look at us weird for that. But yet this so-called white man about to be destroyed. All right. Let me jump down. 51. Deuteronomy 28:51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou beest destroyed, which thou shalt not leave thee either corn, wine, oil, or the increase of thy kine, or the flock of the sheep, until he have destroyed thee. So you ain't gonna have nothing to pass down from generation to generation, just like us. That's one of the major wage gaps between the so-called black man and the so-called white man here. They got generations of wealth that's just passed down, passed down, passed down. Every generation that we all start out fresh, so-called fresh, but behind the lines, just trying to get up on our feet. But before we die, we never, wind up on our feet to be able to pass anything down. Same with the so-called white man that's about to come upon him. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, whereas thou trustest throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all the land which Yahweh thy power hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit, of thy own body, and the flesh of thy sons and the daughters which Yahweh thy power hath given thee, and the siege and the straitness whereas thy enemies shall distress thee. And yet when these calamities and things start coming down, just like how they rained it down on us and put us in these straits, it's going to be the same way for the so-called white man, man. All right, for a lack of food and things like that, they're going to be eating their own goddamn, consuming their own kids. But not just that, they're going to be wound up, how do I say, you know, like, you know, in a future time, they're going to, like how you have Jake now, you know, you got to have a whole family just to goddamn put food on the table for the family. You know what I'm saying? Esau Edom going to be in them type of straits. Whereas right now, you could take the head of the household, the father, and he provide for the whole damn family. It's going to be way worse than that for you Edomites, all right? Verse 54, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bosom and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. And that's what you see right now with the so-called black man, you know, well, so-called the Israelites. You see a high divorce rate, abortion rate, so-called black on black crime, all these different things. But what? This is about to be turned up on Esau Edom, all right? So the man that is tender Salakia. So that the man is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother. Right? There was a video the other day where there was this Edomite man wound up pulling a gun out on this policewoman or whatever, whatnot. She was screaming and fearing for her life or whatever, whatnot. She was like, don't kill me. But nevertheless, this was an Edomite man. You know what I'm saying? The Edomite woman was given the benefit of the doubt. What are you out here doing? You know, I'm sure everything is fine. You got your license on you. I'm sure you don't got no warrants or nothing like that. I just want to check you out, make sure everything's fine. I'm sure you're okay. You know what I'm saying? And come to find out, he gave her a fake name because he did have warrants. He had warrants for running up into some random ass, this Edomite ran up into another random ass Edomite's house, some old ass man, and just killed his ass for no reason. You see what I'm saying? And then he was going to proceed to kill this, this policewoman, all right, until what? Another Edomite cop ran up and shot his ass and killed him. All right, so what? He just had an evil eye towards his own brother for no damn reason, you know? Just like so-called black on black crime. You wonder why Jake just go kill Jake for stepping on their J's. Same thing happened to these damn Edomites. All right, and there was another video where these Edomites, one Edomite wound up killing this other Edomite over a goddamn mattress, a bed mattress, which was trash, which was thrown out into the damn into the little alleyway or whatever, whatnot. He wound up killing the other one over that same ass shit. And you talk about Jake killing each other over petty shit, bro. You killed them over stepping on your J's, spilling something on your white tea. Yeah, the so-called white man killing each other over trash nowadays. You see what I'm saying? They got so much the so-called live for, you know, in their heaven, but yet they killing each other over some little bullshit like that, you know? They killing each other just because. They just running up in each other's houses, going on massive killing sprees, killing up a whole lot of mainly other white people. You see what I'm saying? A lot of these so-called white folks going out on massive killing sprees on their own people, all right? And it also says down here, it says, the tender, verse 55, so that he will not give any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he have nothing left in the siege and the straitness where thine enemy shall distress in all thy gates. So going back into eating of your kids and things like that, you know, like now Jake don't have nothing to pass down to his kids. His kids got to help, you know, we got to help our parents out and shit like that, you know, whatever we got and so on and so forth, instead of the parents helping us out and putting us on our feet, you know, on a sure foundation. But so the so-called Edomites is about to hit the same thing, you know. It says the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for her delicateness, can't pronounce that right now, and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom and towards her son and towards her daughters. All right. And again, you've seen the so-called white woman going towards Jake nowadays. They don't really want to deal with the so-called white man. You hear a lot of these so-called white women say, I don't like, you know, so-called white men. I like, you know, Hispanic men, or so-called Hispanic men, or so-called black men. I don't want to deal with the so-called white man. Son, he ain't got no juice. He ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? Not just that, but also towards her children. You know, you're starting to see a lot of these so-called white women pulling the Jake. You know, they out here having babies left and right and having their mamas and whatever raise their kids. They're not even with their kids no more. You know, they out here running through the streets, the kids being raised by whoever. You know what I'm saying? You start to see these so-called white women having these abortions and things like that, which they weren't really having beforehand. Where it used to be illegal for them to have abortions. But now they having more and more abortions. They want to have to fight for the rights of these things. They don't care about their kids no more. You see? A lot of these so-called white women and things like that, especially with the feminist movement, they don't want to have kids. They don't want their genealogy to keep going on and on and on. All right. So all these curses starting to fall upon these so-called white people at the same as time. All right. verse 57, and towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards the children she shall bear, for she shall eat of them of the one of all things secretly in the siege and straightness, where thy enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. That so-called black woman is eating of her children today. But the so-called black woman, the more children you have, the more child support you can have. So she don't really care about the kids. You see them with the child support checks and the food stamps and this and that. When they get that money and they go do their self up, they be driving a brand new car, nails done, hair done, fresh fit and everything like that. But yet the kids walking around snotty nose looking like, damn, what the hell happened to them? Same happening with these so-called white women. I see a lot of them now. They like, yo, dog, they out here having babies and whatever, whatnot in these damn drug houses or whatever, whatnot, choose to do drugs and rather than raise their kids. Now the kids being raised by their parents. You know what I'm saying? They just walking around being junkies in the street. All right. All on meth, all kind of shit. All right. Let me jump down. 59. Then Yahweh will make thy plagues wonderful in the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues and long continuous and sore sickness and of long continuances. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. All right. And every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, then will Yahweh bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And you start to see a lot of these so-called white people catching all these damn diseases and sicknesses and things like that. Weird diseases. Like I said, these middle-aged white women just dying off for, basically no apparent reason or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? All these different things, but they being counted low in number and everything like that. All right. But nevertheless, and also again with the STDs and things like that, that shit is running rampant right now. All right. I seen some articles quite a while back talking about super STDs and super this and super that. They running rampant, but because of why? The majority of these goddamn nasty ass white people, man, these people are the worst. These are the nastiest people when it comes to goddamn sex. They do some of the nastiest shit. They'll go out to the club and shit and be fucking some bitch they just met in the club 10 minutes ago in a dirty ass bathroom, raw dogging that shit. Like, yo, like if this bitch just did that shit to you right now, you just met the bitch 10 minutes ago. How many other dudes this ain't her first time, Johnny? Come on, man. Get on, man. Verse 62. And you should be left few in numbers, whereas you were the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldst not obey the voice of Yahweh thy power. Again, these are all basically how do I say aimed at the Israelites at first and foremost, but nevertheless, these are all coming to the Edomites. All right. Now, really, the Edomites aren't as a number of the sands of the sea, but however, the way that they framed the picture, that they was the majority and we were always the minority. But now they're already being made public that they are the minority and we are the majority. All right. So all these different, that's why they're saying the so-called browning of America, and they're losing all these different things. But nevertheless, all these curses coming upon Esau Edom. Verse 64. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, really unto the Israelites, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, all right, which neither thou nor thy fathers have not known, even wood and stone. But really, we gonna be their damn gods. They're gonna be serving us. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee a trembling of heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And a lot of these Edomites already have it now because they realize that it's over for them. They're gonna be serving basically Jake. They're gonna be serving Jake real soon. They think about all the things they didn't already did. All right. Verse 66, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have no assurance of thy life. Hey, that's what's coming towards these so-called white people. All right. Verse 67, in the morning thou shalt say, would the Most High it were even, and at even thou would say, would the Most High it was morning, for the fear of thy heart, whereas thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. All right. So think back in the slavery days, you know what I'm saying? In daytime, you know what I'm saying? Like, you praying for nighttime so you can get up out of that damn field to, go into sleep. But at nighttime, you don't know if Esau gonna come in there and kill your ass, rape your wife or whatever, whatnot. What's gonna happen at night? You just praying for the morning time to come. All right. So it's the same way here. And even in modern day society now, we in work, we go to work, get up, go to work, be tired, man, I can't wait to get home. Then at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Jake living in the neighborhoods that Jake living in, gunshots and all kind of crazy shit popping off. You know what I'm saying? Your life hanging in fear. You don't know what's going to pop off. So you like, shit, man, I can't wait till the morning come where it's safe. You know what I'm saying? Esau Edom going to be the new niggas. They're going to be in the new projects in the hoods and in the ghettos. All right. Verse 68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way where I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more. And there thou shalt be sold unto thy enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Again, this is all being directed to the Israelites, which we've already served it all out, and all this is going on Esau Edom. But what? They about to be bondmen and bondwomen, and ain't nobody going to redeem them. All right? Their redemption is extermination. All right? That's how they get up out of slavery, is when they get exterminated after these 1,000 years. So I'm going to go ahead and close out by reading Deuteronomy 30:7 one more time. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemy and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. All right. So this is the future of Esau Edom. This is the transitional period that he's going through right now. These are the hard times coming upon Esau Edom at this here very moment. All right. So with that, Lord, this here lesson was edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahawah, Bahashim, YAHAWASHI, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for your Akim pushing his truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say stay strong and shalom.